Hi guys, I just want to share my experience with you about the NHS. We have always been told that the NHS is the envy of the world, but I don't know what's happening now with the NHS, so I'll share my experience with you. I was listening to the radio while they were talking about a particular hospital that was having patients waiting up to 13 hours to be seen by a doctor. So in the morning when I heard this on the news on this popular radio station, I didn't take it for anything. I'm like, yeah, that's what always happened anyway, not knowing that I would get ill that very day. So about 3-4 o'clock that day, I started to become ill and very unwell. So I had to ask, for support to call in the ambulance. When we called the ambulance and they did an assessment online, so they did this assessment via telephone, sorry, not online. They did this assessment and I'm going to tell you, throughout the before I could even get to speak to someone, they have been telling us about COVID. If you have COVID, this. If you have cough, this. Oh, if you need a vaccine, this. If you need that. And I'm here dying. I'm like, I don't want to hear about COVID. I just need a voice. I need someone on the phone. Anyway, someone came on after about 5 minutes of this COVID thing. Someone came on. And when they came on, they said to me, we're going to go through an assessment with you. It took about 20-25 minutes. So they went through this assessment where they asked me all these questions. And based on the answers that they received, they said, you need to speak to one of our clinical team because you seem to be very unwell and may need to go into hospital. So I'm like, okay. They said, hang up. They'll ring you back shortly. 25, 35, 40 minutes, no call. So I decided to ring again. When I rang the second time, someone answered, and when she answered, she needed to take me through those questionnaire again. So I said, I've done it before. She said, well, you have to do it now. So anyway, I did it, and upon finishing, she said to me, you have to go into hospital and I'll make arrangement for the ambulance to pick you up. Anyway, I'm here now waiting for the ambulance. So we're getting dressed, trying to get me dressed because I'm not well. I couldn't even stand. I couldn't walk. I couldn't go to the toilet. I couldn't do anything. So I'm like dead. Anyway, the ambulance rang me, and when the ambulance rang me, they said to us, we're just calling to let you know we can't take you because we are overstretched and we would like you to make your way to A&E or to the nearest community hospital. I said, can you tell me the nearest to us? They gave us one that is about 3 miles from home. We drove there. When we got there, this was about 7 o'clock. It was closed. And there was a cleaner inside who advised us that they only operate 9 to 5. And I'm like, seriously? How could someone from the ambulance service, not knowing this, send someone who is on the brink of dying to somewhere that's closed? So we're like, okay, the only option now is to get straight to A&E, and that's maybe another 6 miles away. So we drove to A&E, and when we got to A&E, this is my experience, right? We got to A&E, my husband took me out the car. I could not walk. There was this lovely nurse. She was on her break, having a chat on her phone. When she saw what was happening, I heard she said, sorry, I have to go. Hi, do you need support? Yes. And she was shouting for an ambulance, for a wheelchair. Get me a wheelchair for this lady. She got this wheelchair. They put me in. Oh my God, I'll talk about the wheelchair at the end. So she put me in, they wheeled me in. I went and I saw the nurses. You know, when the first bit you go in, you register, you saw the nurse. It took me 2.5 hours to go in to see the other nurses that do the ECGs and all of that. Roughly 2.5 hours. So I went, I did that. I must say the nurses were so kind. They were so pleasant. They were just the most loveliest people, I can tell you. The treatment that they gave me is unbelievable. I did loads of tests. On doing all these tests, it came out that I needed to get some treatment. So I need to get several injections and some pills and, you know, the drip. So they had to insert this thing in my hand. I'm not even sure what it is, where they push that thing in and they take blood and they can give you the drip or whatever through that. So they did that to me, and I now had to sit and wait to see the doctor. Oh my God. I sat from 12 o'clock to 3:45, and I got upset. 3:45 in the morning, from 12 o'clock midnight in the morning there to 3:45 in the wee of the morning. I said, I need to know when I'll be seen, or else I'm going home, because I want to sleep. I'm uncomfortable. This wheelchair, it's the worst thing you could ever sit in. It gave me pain in my tailbone here. It was horrible. I was in pain just to get up from that wheelchair. Oh, horrible that seat was, right? Anyway, when I went into the nurses to say, can you take this thing out my arm? I need to go home. I want to go home. They did everything for me not to leave the hospital, because they knew I was very ill and they wanted me to be seen. So they said to me, oh, you're sixth in line. You're the sixth person. I'm sitting there for another hour. Not one person was called. Not one. So this was like after 4:20 now in the morning. I'm like, come on. If they don't see me in 20 minutes, I'm going. I need to get home. Anyway, I went back in to the nurses and I'm like, please, when will I be seen? They said, oh, you're next. This was about minutes to 5. You're next. And I'm sitting there. No one moved. No one moved. And I'm telling you, A&E was packed like a stadium, a football match. I've never seen so many people. And the ambulance was coming in with so many people as well. So it was like a wait that was going to go, I don't know. But anyway, they said I'm next in line. So I'm sitting there. I did not see that doctor until about 7:30 in the morning. 7:30 in the morning. But I must say, he was very nice, very charming. You know, it was all good. We had banters, even though I was out of it. We had banters. It was good. But when we finished about 8 o'clock, 8:20 in the morning, and then we drove home. My take on this now is, they've always told us about the NHS, and I don't know what's happening. It feels as if it's crumbling to me. It feels as if they need more staff, because they had very few doctors. The wait for the doctors was so long. You know, I could see the nurse, because there were loads of nurses and they were moving around and they spoke to you, you know, they came, they look after you. So the nurses were there, but there was a lack of doctors, and I just can't understand why that was. Very few doctors. So I'm asking a question now based on my experience. Is the NHS fit for purpose? Is this working? What must the government do to improve this service? Because I'm a young kind of young person that, you know, even though I was ill, I could, you know, try to help myself in a way. I had support with me. What about all the people who need this support? I saw the ambulance took persons in that they had to take them in because they may have fell down, have, you know, bruises all over, injured, harm, you know, and the ambulance could not take the person back home, and they didn't have money to go home, they were saying, you know. So I'm like, how can this be solved? You know, the government need to do something. They keep telling us, oh, we're going to give the NHS more money. The NHS want more money. The NHS want more money. No, I don't really believe that it's money that the NHS need. I think the NHS need real governance. It needs someone to manage it and manage it properly, because what we're seeing now is not the true reflection of what the NHS used to be. And everybody might want to blame COVID. I don't think so, because there was no one at the hospital with COVID. So something else is wrong, and they just need to fix it. They just need to get it right. So I've shared my experience with you. I don't know if anyone else have had such an experience. If you do, you can leave a comment down below, and we can talk about this some more. But anyway, that's all I have to say for now. So bye.